Welcome to Fun and Games Side Quests. Every episode is a different host sharing a video game they love and why they love it.
Hey there, I'm Alex, one half of Lo-Fi Gaming, a conversational book club style podcast that I co-host with my brother Luke. Each month we tackle the game of the moment across a classic offer or backlog. You can find us at lo5gaming.com. But I'm not here to talk about Lo-Fi, I'm here to talk about Road 96, a little indie gem that I absolutely adore. Now, Road 96 is a procedurally generated road trip game developed by DigixArt that was released on August 16th of 2021. It's available on pretty much everything: Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, S, and PC. But I came across this game when I first got my Switch OLED because I was looking up articles about games that showcase that crisp, vibrant 7-inch display that the OLED has. I noticed that Road 96 kept showing up in those articles, so on my wish list it went. Before too long, boom, it hit that sweet 50% off discount that I love to see. And oh, am I so glad that it did. Now, I had recently been coming off the Telltale Batman series, and I noticed that there are similarities between the choice and consequence style approach between these two games, but the explorative first-person gameplay and procedurally generated, almost roguelite runs of Road 96 really set it apart. Every trip to the border is a high stakes, which had an interesting impact on my relationship with each anonymous protagonist I embodied. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, if you make the wrong series of decisions, you die, kicking off the next run. The game also keeps track of how far you made at each run on the map, including little visuals denoting whether the character escaped, was arrested, or, like I said, died. A constant reminder that not everyone makes it out of Petria. Although this one can go a myriad of different directions, that's the common premise. It is the summer of 1996. The player takes on the role of a set of teenagers described as broken, who is attempting to flee the country of Petria, an authoritarian nation led by President Tyrak that's on the brink of collapse. The country has thousands of roads, and the border is far away out in the mountains, thousands of miles away. Those teens that you're given a selection of are of various ages, distances from the border, and have been missing for different amounts of time. Beyond a silhouette and some information about their energy level and the amount of money in their pockets, there isn't further backstory. It's an interesting setup that gives the player a certain level of agency. I mentioned earlier that your choices have consequences. Your actions throughout the game will impact the endgame, which is always pretty cool. It's like what you might find in a game like The Witcher 3 or Mass Effect, but unlike those games, I didn't get caught up in making the choices that would result in what the internet has deemed as the ideal endgame. Over time, your indifference, only looking out for yourself, political charge, wanting to see Senator Flores defeat President Tyrak in a fair election, or a penchant for anarchy are going to influence the endgame. And honestly, each path is pretty interesting. You never know what's going to happen next. Each run is different from the last, thanks to this procedurally generated nature of the game, and you can't just memorize the route to the border and expect to win. Instead, you have to make your choices, and they're going to affect your journey. Will you hitchhike with a stranger who may or may not have your best interests in mind? Will you accept a ride from someone who is clearly up to no good? Or will you hoof it to the next destination? The choice is yours. I'd be doing this game a disservice if I didn't mention the cast of characters. Although you always play as a different teen in each run, you encounter the same 8 personalities on each trip, but not necessarily all of them. As the game unfolds, you start to see how they're all connected. The game does an excellent job of fleshing out each person's backstory and motivations, making it easy to empathize with them and care about their fates, as your interactions will have impact on future runs. It's a cool storytelling mechanic and gives extra importance to each border crossing attempt. You end up building a genuine connection with everyone involved. The characters are truly the heart and soul of Road 96, and they're a major reason why the game is such a compelling and unforgettable experience. I'd love to tell you more about them, but I really want you to experience it for yourself because they are so much the reason why I love this game. And the music. You also really have to experience this for yourself as well. But the music in this game is top notch. There's also this cool little mechanic where you collect cassette tapes on each run, each featuring a different track. And when you encounter a radio, you can interact with it, select one of your tapes that you found, and change up the music that's playing. It's pretty cool. I also really dug the art direction as well. At first glance, the art style of Road 96 is captivating. It puts you in a cartoonish and colorful world that looks like it was plucked out of a comic book. The graphics may seem simple, but the attention to detail is really impressive. In terms of reception, the game has received positive reviews not only from me, but from critics and other players alike. As of this recording, the PC version currently has a score of 79 on Metacritic. The Switch version comes in a little lower at 75, but I don't know. I don't really see what the problems would be with it. It ran pretty darn good on my Switch, so I don't really think that's fair. But players other than me have praised this game's unique story, engaging characters, and replayability. And that's another thing about this game is even when you beat it, it's so worth going back and playing again. It's a fantastic loop. Overall, I have to say that Road 96 is a must-play for anyone who enjoys narrative-driven games. It's also worth a play for those interested in roguelites. The game's engaging characters, unique story, and phenomenal soundtrack make it a standout title in the adventure video game genre. And if you're looking for a game that's just going to keep you on the edge of your seat, hungry for more story, then Road 96 is a game for you. Happy gaming!
Video games are a unique medium.
They can tell stories,
Immerse us in strange, fantastic worlds.
blur the very boundaries of our reality.
But at the end of the day, video games are fun. Whatever fun is to you.
I'm Jeff Moonen,
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
and on Fun and Games, we talk about the history, trends, and community of video games.
It's a celebration of all the games we play and all the fun we find within them.
And there's so many more games out there, so we hope you'll share in that conversation with us.
Fun and Games podcast with Matt and Jeff. Find us on certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
And happy gaming.
Hey there, Screen Beans. Have you heard about Screen Snark?
Rachel, this is an ad break. They aren't screen beans until they listen to the show.
Fine. Potential Screen Beans. You like movies and TV shows, right?
I mean, who doesn't? Screen Snark is a casual conversation about the movies and television shows that are shaping us as we live our everyday lives.
That's right, Matt. We have a chat with at least one incredible guest every episode, hailing from all walks. We've interviewed chefs,
Writers, costumers, musicians,
yoga teachers, comedians, burlesque dancers,
folks in the film and TV industry.
and more.
We'd be delighted for you to join us every other Monday on the Certain POV Podcast Network.
Or wherever you get your podcasts, fresh and tasty off the presses.
What? That's not.
Can I call them Screen Beans now?
Fine.
Screen Beans!
So tune in and we'll see you at the movies or on a couch somewhere.
'Cause you're all Screen Beans now.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.